I challenged myself to beat Final Fantasy IX with only Garnet, and this is probably the most painful challenge I've ever done. She's the only one who can deal damage to enemies despite starting with no offensive spells and all the physical prowess of a wet noodle. And she can't even use her noodle arms until all of her allies are dead. The rest of the rules are in the Disquidly-Doo, so let's rock on. We start things off by naming Zidane Steven. Garnet isn't around yet, but the road to get her isn't too rocky. We fight a dinosaur man named Vivi Lapis and sneak into a play. There, I make sure to get 10,000 gil from the play fight, and then we encounter our lead gem. We borrow the princess for a bit, name Steiner Frybo, realize I've been using the wrong streaming template the entire time I've been streaming and finally swap it out, and then get bombed into oblivion by Garnet's mom.
I hate that.
In the Evil Forest, though, we have a slight complication. Garnet gets captured by a planty thing, and she technically participates in a battle. However, we can't control her, and she's unable to damage it. Therefore, Frybo and Steven use potions to heal her, and they're eventually able to trim this terrible tulip. Of course, the plant takes Garnet away again, Lapis destroys a plant that has captured him, and we then destroy the big plant that orchestrated Garnet's kidnapping in the first place. And upon its defeat, we finally gain control of the pretty princess. But here is where we encounter a problem. All of the enemies in this next section can completely destroy Garnet. She starts the game at level 1, and without the help of her allies, everything will kill her. And to add insult to injury, she can't do any damage anyway. She's pretty much only a white mage at this part of the game. She has no damage dealing spells, her summons cost way too much MP to use, and her physical attacks hit about as hard as a wad of overcooked spaghetti. So for now, I avoid every random battle and fight Black Waltz 2 with Zidane. And with that, Garnet finally decides on a new name. And given her incredible insight into the weird and supernatural goings-on in Gaia, I name her Ronaldo. And here is where the suffering truly begins. Because of Ronaldo's poor offensive acumen, she is 100% unable to defeat our next boss, Black Waltz 2, without some grinding and some creativity. And in just a second, I'll tell you why. But before I start the grind, I grab 99 wrists from Dolly to do a fun trick later and get some extra cash. Anyway, the reason Ronaldo has problems with Black Waltz 2 is Black Waltz 2 will not attack her. And that might sound like a good thing, since it means I can just sit right back until all my allies are dead. But here's the problem. Once everyone else is dead, Black Waltz 2 will cast the sleep status on Ronaldo and the battle will end in a game over. That means that even though she can't technically die in the battle and could wail on him with her staff, she's on a timer. Once everyone else dies, she needs to do big PP damage fast, so the only solution is to get her to summon. But her least expensive summon, Shiva, requires 96 MP, and grinding to get to a point where she can use it? Well, it's kind of a disaster. The only monster Ronaldo can kill are the ghosts hidden behind the mist door in Dolly. These ghosts are undead, and therefore cure magic can defeat them. But these ghosts are no slouches. Offensively, they can use thunder and fire magic. And because Ronaldo has such low HP, literally 2 attacks from them can kill her. But fortunately, she's able to kill them in just 1 hit with her cure magic. But there's yet another problem. They can kill her pretty easily as well. If she's wearing the silk shirt, which causes her to be weak to fire, they kill her with just 1 fire spell, which is exactly what happens the first time I fight them. But if she's wearing the leather shirt, which I try out on my next attempt, 2 of any spell will kill her, and she dies. However, the silk shirt does give her resistance against thunder, which will allow her to survive 2 thunder spells total. And after a lifetime worth of pain, I eventually get the constellation of circumstances I need to get this roast to cookin'. I equip the silk shirt, and upon opening the door, the encounter has to be with 2 ghosts. 1 ghost kills Lapis, Steven destroys himself, and then Ronaldo can kill 1 ghost with Cure. The remaining ghost then uses Thunder, which Ronaldo resists, and she's able to use Cure to kill it. This brings her to level 3, and now she has 106 HP, making these battles a lot more safe. But I still go save my game after that first battle because I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing it again. I am not. But after that, it's smooth sailing. With her increased HP, Ronaldo can now survive at least a few spells, and I'm able to grind her up. And while it takes a long time, I have a clear goal in mind. I need her to get 96 HP to summon Shiva. And it does take a couple of hours, but the grind takes me to level 19. So now it's time to fight Black Waltz 2. When I began the battle with Black Waltz 2, I thought that summoning a giant woman would trivialize the battle, so entering this battle, identify my allies as is my custom, and then summon this icy hot lady. Look at that gorgeous gal, she's surely going to— oh god, he's not dead. And that's a big issue. But he does give Ronaldo another turn, so I have her strike with her staff to see if she can finish him off. And she can't. So he puts her to sleep, and it's game over. On my second try, I summon Shiva again. But this time, I restore Ronaldo's MP with an ether instead of attacking. But unfortunately, I don't get another turn, and Ronaldo catches up on some Z's once again. And I got kind of frustrated here, so I took a look at an old GameFAQs guide of this challenge at this point. The guide suggests having Ronaldo just keep an ally alive with potions at this point so that Black Waltz 2 won't cast sleep on her. But that goes against the rules of the challenge, so I'm not doing it. So on try number 4, I try something else. I once again cast Shiva once everyone is dead, but instead of restoring Ronaldo's MP right away, I instead use a Phoenix down on Lapis. And sure, I can't take any action while he's alive, but reviving him causes Black Waltz to redirect his attention. He kills Lapis again, and this resets his battle timer. And he starts his special dialogue over, meaning Ronaldo can now restore her MP without getting put to sleep. However, I get paranoid that my next Shiva spell won't hit, so I have her use another Phoenix down on Lapis, and Lapis dies again, allowing Ronaldo to recast Shiva. And this is enough to finish off Black Waltz 2, ending one of the worst parts of this challenge. Ronaldo doesn't participate in the next battle with Black Waltz 3 at all. This is a job for Lapis, Steven, and Fribo, and once we wrap that up, our plan to kidnap Ronaldo is complete. We head to Lindblum. There, we have some work to do. First, we name our newest rat friend Pearl. I buy some steepled hats so I can turn them into cotton robes for unlimited money, and then I synthesize a bunch of other stuff for later. But then it's time to seek out the princess for a quick chat. And let me take a quick break from this challenge to talk about the princess for a second. I'm going to use her real name here because calling her Ronaldo in these sections feels a little weird to me. Bear with me. So I think Garnet is kind of misunderstood. Initially, she's depicted both in terms of battle skill and personality as a passive and impotent healer. Personality-wise, she's really only able to support her allies and sing pretty songs. But in reality, she's kind of a badass. She tells Zidane she can't sleep and needs a sedative, but actually she's lying. She only wanted that medicinal herb so she could drug the rest of the party and head back to Alexandria without them. And the reason is insane. She believes that she and she alone can convince her mother, a woman that literally nuked a ship that she was riding, to stop waging war. And she puts herself in tremendous danger just to get back home. Personally, I hate confrontation. If someone starts an argue with me, I just start quoting Drag Race.
I've had it. And you know what I've had? It.
Anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about her character later, but I just need to say that these are not the actions of a weak and passive little girl. Garnet may be naive, but the course she chooses reveals that she's a brazen force. Defying Queen Braun not only means defying the woman who raised her, but it also means defying the world's most powerful military force. And Garnet does this without hesitation. She chooses to face her murderous mother head on. She's courageous. She's persistent, and oddly, she has faith in other humans, even ones who have literally shot at her with a giant cannon. And I honestly wish that I had even half the cojones that she does. With Ronaldo now on her own personal journey, the characters go do some other not so important stuff. They recruit Quina, whom we name Onion, they chill with some dead rats, and they fight Gizamalook. We briefly return to Ronaldo and Fribo, who hop on a Skyline car and do little else, and then the rest of the party gets wrecked by General Beatrix. But then we finally return to Ronaldo for a while, because after she transfers to train car number 2, she gets assaulted by a weakened Black Waltz 3. Fortunately though, this monster too refuses to attack her. So once Marcus and Fribo are dead, I have Ronaldo summon Shiva, which honestly was a waste of time, because with Marcus and Fribo dead, all that Black Waltz 3 does is damage itself with its own crack.
Don't do that. Your crack is whack.
Allowing her to win the battle with zero effort. So I head back to Dali, grab some more wrists so I can get some more free money, and then travel to the city of Treno. Sadly, Ronaldo gets robbed on her way in, but it's only 500 gil. And by talking to the man who robbed her just a minute later, I get a free power belt. Then I grab 2 items from the auction house, Medane's ring and the Reflect ring, and I exchange my Stellatios for some money. For funskis, I also have Ronaldo fight the Griffin in the weapon shop with her new lacrosse racket, and this allows her to get a free Tetramaster card. But once all that is done, I make sure to equip the Chemist ability. This will allow Ronaldo to use a potion to recover 300 HP. I also equip the Antibody ability to prevent the poison status, and I equip these because after we ride a giant spider, we get attacked by a big-ass snake. So I start the battle by summoning Shiva, and then I realize how overleveled I am. Once the snake starts attacking, it becomes clear that it really can't do much to Ronaldo. Even its most powerful attack, Blizzara, does less than 150 damage, meaning Ronaldo can heal it off easily. And Ronaldo's air racket, which is wind elemental, deals about 200 damage per hit. I think I also equipped the feather hat, which increased its damage, but I don't remember. I'm sure my editor will tell you right now whether I was right or not.
Nope.
Anyway, it goes down pretty quickly, and Ronaldo then gets captured by two disgusting clowns. Sorry for the Culberphobes in my audience. Her mother, so power-hungry that she'd sacrifice anything to gain dominion over the other nations of the Mist Continent, extracts Ronaldo's summoning power from her, and after she disables the defensive cyclone of Clara, she sends in her goons to steal their sacred treasure. But even worse, after that, she uses Ronaldo's Odin summon to destroy the city entirely. And now, with the Queen's power wrenched from her daughter fully apparent, the party decides that it's time to save Ronaldo. Of course, they're all bookworms, so they head to the library for a little bit of reading. My rock band destroys Tantarian to gain the running shoes, which will grant the auto haste ability. So they smack down the clowns and then take on Beatrix. But Beatrix, finally realizing that the Queen intends to kill Ronaldo now that her Aeons have been extracted. Did I just say Aeons? This is Final Fantasy IX. Eidolons. The Queen, now realizing that the Eidolons have all been extracted, intends to kill her daughter, and Beatrix realizes this, and then, you know, she's fine. She helps out Ronaldo. With Ronaldo now awake, I ready myself to enter a whole new world of pain, because we now enter a battle with the Bandersnatches. And of course, I done f***ed up. Because not only is she underleveled, but even worse, the summons that I fought so hard for have now been removed from her inventory, meaning I don't have any workaround for the bunny dogs. And even worse, they can put her to sleep, making her unable to heal while they wail on her. So while I initially do my best to whittle them down, eventually I die. But on my second try, I get good. I equip her with a stronger weapon, the Multina racket, the feather hat, which increases her physical attack damage, specifically her wind attack damage, and the silk robe, which greatly increases her physical defense. And most importantly, I equip her with the coral ring. This accessory allows her to absorb the Bandersnatch's strong Thundara attacks, and even better, gives her the Insomniac ability to prevent sleep. So once her allies are dead, things get a lot more difficult for the big bad bunny dogs. She now does almost 250 damage with her physical attacks. And to add insult to injury, she goes into trance, which increases her physical attack damage by 50%. And I even see her deal a juicy 812 damage with a critical hit. So ultimately, the Bandersnatches get whacked. She effortlessly takes down a cadre of black mages, followed by another set of bunny dogs, and we hop onto another spider to escape Alexandria. But who should assault us but another giant snake? But this time the snake is just weird. Somehow Ronaldo's attacks mess with its AI. Every time she hits the snake, it coils up and enters a counterattack state. But as long as I don't attack during that period, nothing happens. I'm not sure why this happens, but my theory is that it's related to the fact that Ronaldo's racket does wind damage. And if you know, let me know in the comments, because I've literally never seen this happen before. Anyway, I just attack, wait for the snake to uncoil, and then rinse and repeat. It's able to unleash a total of 1 counterattack on Ronaldo, and she very quickly dispatches it. We emerge at the Pinnacle rocks, and we have just one more task to complete before Ronaldo will finally be able to do damage. We have to assemble a story about some random white man. And of course, while I'm running around, I get ambushed by a few bats, and they effortlessly take her out by draining her blood. So I tend to the Fangmax on Ronaldo's neck, chat with this old fart, and at last obtain the savior of this run, the Peridot. With this equipped, Ronaldo can summon Ramu to deal thunder damage. It's at this moment, though, that Ronaldo's mother destroys yet another city with one of her summons. But hey, that's not traumatizing at all, so I'm sure Ronaldo's mental health is A-okay. But just in case someone asks her about it and makes that noise, you know, that one that people make when you talk about something that's completely innocuous and someone else thinks it's a complete disaster, and they go, oh, oh, oh. She takes a holiday to the outer continent. As is often the case, a bounty hunter refuses to let Ronaldo go on holiday. Don't you hate when that happens? Bounty hunters have ruined so many of my vacations. But anyway, Lonnie is kind of fun. Before this battle, I equipped Ronaldo with the auto potion ability along with the chemist ability. This means that every time Lonnie attacks, Ronaldo automatically heals 300 HP. And that makes Lonnie relatively unthreatening. But there's more! Because Ronaldo goes into trance in this battle, allowing me to finally unleash her true power. Ronaldo's trance changes the way her summons work. When Ronaldo summons while in trance form, she uses the Eidolon command to do so. And after that, the Eidolon she summoned can just come back again to do more damage an infinite number of times so long as she is still in trance. This means that once I summon Ramuh in trance once, all I have to do is wait and Ramuh kills Lonnie without a single extra button press. I literally just sit there and she gets wrecked. And this ability will come in very handy later, so stay tuned for that. So I head through Fossil Rue and emerge on the outer continent. We head to the Dwarf Lands, head back to the Black Mage Land, get married, and meet Eiko, whom we name Peridot. And this leads us to our next boss, the Hill Giggler. And as I did with Lonnie, I just wait for Ronaldo to enter trance and then summon bearded old white dude with the Eidolon command. After that, it's just a matter of waiting. Auto Potion heals her, and Ramuh re-summons himself continually until Hill Giggler goes down. And as someone who loves doing nothing, I'm happy about this. But I decide to take on another task. I head to the loofah tree to fight the tree's roots. But if you've watched any of my other challenges of this game, which I will link in the descriptly to, you know that this enemy is undead. And that means that if I wanted to, I could just use the life spell to destroy this enemy immediately. But that seems too easy. And because Ronaldo has the Cura spell, I can just use that spell to do consistent damage to this fiend. And while there is some danger, specifically due to the heat status, this status causes a character to die if they take any action, I avoid that problem by just waiting it out. And after just a few Cura spells, I chop down this ancient tree. We head back to Peridot's home, rescue her from a brief kidnapping stint, name Amarant, buck Dewey, and then discover a crucial detail about Ronaldo. The reason she can summon is that her original home was the Summoner's Village. Her mother is in fact her adoptive mother. Who could have seen that coming? Ronaldo and her mother fled the destruction of the village on a boat. And I know I'm going a little bit off brand here, but if a giant eyeball laser destroys your hometown and burns all of its inhabitants to a crisp and the only way to escape is on a boat, then maybe you might want to consider in this particular circumstance purchasing a boat. Excuse me, but I didn't hear that. Could you say it just one more time, but just a little bit louder? I think this might be a good time to purchase a boat. I'm so sorry, I didn't get that. One more time, please. I'm glad that they bought a boat! With her past finally uncovered, Ronaldo and the party realize that Queen Braun is now here. She's ready to face off against Kuja with both her naval force and Ronaldo's most powerful Eidolon, Bahamut. But something goes wrong here. So for a moment, let's switch back to canon names. Braun manages to injure Kuja, but he has a secret weapon. The ship Invincible, the same one that originally destroyed Garnet's village. The ship steals control of Bahamut away from the queen, turning him against her. And with a blast of fiery breath, Bahamut causes mortal injury to her and she dies. Garnet is at her side and Braun is finally free of the greed that caused her to start the war in the first place. Garnet ascends to queendom, but she's demonstrably changed. Until this point, she's maintained an air of optimism despite harrowing circumstances. Her mood is more grave, her tone more distant, and her connection with the rest of the party is seemingly severed. And her self-imposed isolation, now more than ever, is quite poignant to me. When I was a kid, I don't think I had any frame of reference for how Garnet felt in this moment. And honestly, I still don't. But as I've grown, I've realized that we all do this. Something bad happens, and despite needing our friends more than ever, we sever our ties with them. We cut them off, sometimes explicitly and sometimes in more subtle ways, by hiding our emotions, by putting up a wall. Anyway, we head into Trano and get the rebirth ring, but then Garnet suffers another terrible tragedy. Kuja summons Bahamut to destroy Alexandria, and while Garnet and Eiko summon Alexander to retaliate, the subsequent struggle leads to the destruction of the castle and what's left of her resilience, and thus, Garnet loses her voice. And to me, it was always odd that Garnet loses her voice here. Why is this her lowest low? Why Why didn't she lose her voice after the death of her mother? And the only answer that I can think of is that with everything that had been wrenched from her grasp, one thing always remained intact: home. But now, even that is gone. So faced with a mountain of responsibilities to others, but no time to take care of herself, her body and mind finally reach their limit. The loss of her voice is not just a symptom of her inner turmoil. It's the only way that she can heal. She's finally taking a well-needed vacation from herself. With Ronaldo's mental health at its worst, this seems like a great time to remind her of her trauma and board the Blue Narcissus, yet another boat. So after we ship off to the Black Mage Village on a fact-finding mission, we head to the Desert Palace to confront Kuja. But not before I get revenge on one of these disgusting worms that seem to kill me every single time I challenge this game. But after that, Kuja captures the party and forces us to head to Orcaturfs to get him a D4 for his D&D game so he can roll for magic missile damage. Half the party goes to Orcaturfs and the other half stays in the Desert Palace. So naturally, I take Ronaldo to the Desert Palace because I love to suffer. Before I head in, I make sure to sell all of my regular potions and make sure I only have high potions. Auto Potion only uses the lowest rank potions in the inventory, so if I only have high potions, I can heal for 900 damage after each enemy attack when accounting for Chemist. But here's where things get nasty. Orcaturfs has a special property. No magic is usable inside, so all of Ronaldo's magic and summons are useless and she has to rely entirely on her racket to deal damage. Fortunately though, she now has auto haste and auto regen, and these, along with auto potion, will make her almost impossible to take down. So after a long history lesson and equipping clear-headed to prevent confusion, I bring her in to fight Ark. Without magic, this battle will take a long time. And even worse, losing her voice significantly hinders Ronaldo. Each of her abilities has a set chance to completely whiff and just return a message stating that she can't concentrate. And while I love the story immersion this choice provides, it ultimately slows down the battle markedly. And this battle was one of the most hilarious I've ever experienced. Ronaldo can deal reasonable but not unseasonable damage with her racket to this big airboat, and she heals for 450 damage with auto potion after each of its strikes. So I just turned on auto battle and left. You guys let me know how this battle goes, okay? I'm gonna take a moment. I made some tea, I used the bathroom, I had a little dance party in my living room. Oh, my back. Oh. Okay, I hurt my back a little because of getting old and went a little too hard, but fortunately my live stream audience are made up of hundreds of amazing and compassionate babysitters. Do they have CPR training? No. Were they actually hoping I would die? Yes. Would I trust them with a child's well-being? Absolutely not. But fortunately, Ronaldo is not a child, and she can take care of both herself and this disgusting airboat. And it takes a while, because Ronaldo's temporary vow of silence sometimes prevents her from attacking. But we had a great book about cats to read, and we had a good time. And eventually, she takes down Ark, we grab the D4, and head back to the Desert Palace. I should also mention that Ark dropped the pumice piece. This accessory allows Ronaldo to learn the boost ability, and this ability will make her summons, outside of extra trance summons anyway, to always show their full animation, doing a ton more power. And this ability has an important impact that we'll talk about later. And because this is a Ronaldo-only challenge, I reset, beat Orcaturfs with a party of 4 that doesn't include Ronaldo, and then I have her fight through the Desert Palace. I light all the candles, I grab all the bloodstones, and then I prepare for the fight with Valia Pira. And by prepare, I mean to say that I do almost nothing. Ronaldo now has the Reflect spell available to her, and with the Reflect status, she's essentially invincible since Valia Pira only uses magical attacks. Its spells simply damage itself, and Ronaldo's summons do a little bit of work as well, taking down this dysfunctional droid. Unfortunately though, Peridot now gets rock-napped, so we have to rescue her from Mount Glue Glue. But there are a couple of worrisome battles to face before we can. First, the battles with the White Dragons, who can use pretty powerful wind magic. Fortunately, with Ronaldo in the back row, their physical damage falls flat. Her Lamia's Tiara also decreases their wind damage by half. Ultimately, though, it's Shiva who defeats them, though Ronaldo does get some good whackets in with her rackets. She fights a second set, and they're similarly ineffectual, also getting blasted by Icy Hot Mama. But then it's time to fight the Kidnapper of Rocks, Multigamini. And with the antibody ability equipped, this monster has little it can do to Ronaldo. And even worse for it, I equip Ronaldo with the Aquamarine, which gives her access to the Leviathan summon. This water summon does even more damage than Shiva, and the animation is long strong enough that it gives her extra time to recover with her auto regen. And once we have enough ability stones to equip the boost ability, which we talked about before, this will become extremely impactful. Anyway, the wetness overtakes Multigamini and he dies. And with this, we rescue Peridot and save the regent's wife Hilda. She turns him back into a human, and he in turn turns his boat into an airship. Great use of boat. I approve. But even more importantly, Ronaldo, even though she still hasn't gone to therapy or taken her SSRI, has a realization. The best medication for depression is a haircut. You heard it here, folks. If your mood is crushingly bad, just head to the salon, chop off 20 inches of hair, and all your mental health issues will just evaporate. With our new airship, we can now head to Ipsen's castle, a place where weak weapons are strong and strong weapons are weak. But the nice thing about Ronaldo is that her weapons just don't matter anymore. She'll be doing all of her damage with magic from here on out, which means it's time to fight the armadillo lizard thing. But not before I get whacked by a set of tonberries and have to reset. And it happens twice. Oh god. Anyway, Dillo Lizard. Its usual shenanigans allow it to boost physical defense by coiling up, but Ronaldo cares not a single iota about that. She can just continually cast Leviathan. And whenever she does cast Leviathan, she restores HP from auto regen. And whenever she gets hit with an attack, auto potion activates, restoring 450 HP, which causes her to be able to restore more HP from auto regen, making her essentially invincible in this battle. And to add insult to injury, she enters trance near the end of the battle. But sadly, she doesn't get to use any free summons because her next tidal wave takes down the Armadillo Lizard with no issues. And while that's a horribly anticlimactic battle, something great happens here. By completing this weird rotating puzzle that I don't understand, I gain the Ancient Aroma item. This item will give Ronaldo a really cool ability, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Because before we have any more battles, we drop Ronaldo and Eiko off at the Water Temple, where they independently have to take on the Water Guardian. But since the game doesn't allow us to participate, we have to tag along with Steven and Onion instead. They take on the Earth Guardian. Bada bing, bada boom, we trade in some Stalazios for the Rosetta Ring, another accessory which I'll need later, and we head into Terra. Unfortunately, Ronaldo's PTSD flares up due to her phobia of giant eyeballs. Listen, just like you, I also love eyeballs, but I get it. And we head on to the weird solo battle gauntlet thing. We battle Black Beauty, beat down a big beetle, and finally, Ronaldo takes on a troublesome turtle. And fortunately, Ronaldo's auto potion, along with auto regen and Leviathan's long-ass animation, allows her to easily take him down. And even better, at the end of this battle, Ronaldo now learns the Odin summon. This will be colossally important as we progress, because this, along with the Ancient Aroma... Well, actually, let me come back to that. We're not quite there yet, because I have a couple more fights to do. I equip Ronaldo with the Coronet and the Garnet, and head off to fight a devilish dragon. With the Coronet, the dragon's wind damage is negated, and with auto potion and Chemist, Ronaldo is once again invincible. Unfortunately, I waste Ronaldo's trance by summoning Shiva, which just isn't powerful enough, but then I take on this big-ass dragon with her big-ass dragon, Bahamut, and this punk goes down quick. Garland is next, and he too is quite vulnerable to Lizard Breath. With Locomotion to prevent his stop attacks and Auto Potion healing Ronaldo, he has trouble dealing meaningful damage. And once Ronaldo goes into trance, I summon Bahamut one more time, and then just wait for the dragon to take out this droidy daddy. Yes, I literally won this battle by doing nothing. And finally, the battle with Kuja. And Kuja, in all honesty, is weaker than Garland. He casts Flare, Thundaga, and Demi, but he too ultimately drives Ronaldo into transform. That means all I have to do is summon Bahamut once and wait for his auto summons to destroy him, which is exactly what happens. Now, you might be wondering about the title of this section, and I'm happy to announce the creation of my OnlyFans. Nope. I head back to Treno to exchange my Stalazios, and of course I realize that I missed one, the Stalazio in Black Mage Village, Virgo. So I grab that, I head back to Treno, and exchanging it gets me Ronaldo's best armor, the Robe of Lords. She doesn't really need the abilities from it in this run, but its stats are completely legendary. And speaking of legendary, I want to take a moment to thank all of my Tantacles. These are my YouTube channel members who donate every month to my channel to see my content early and enable me to make more and better videos. I've started working with some amazing editors
Please, you gotta help me.
And the Tantacles make it possible for me to pay these editors fairly and keep hiring them. So thank you to all of my Tantacles, and if you want to become one of my channel members, click the link in the Discridly-Do or the join button at the bottom of this video. But if you don't have any spare cash lying around, hitting the like button and the subscribe button is free and means just as much to me, honestly. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for watching this far in the video, and let's head on to Memoria. I start by fighting Nova Dragon, who frankly isn't a big deal. Ronaldo goes into trance, and this once again allows her to win by summoning Bahamut once and doing nothing for the rest of the battle. And after Ronaldo gets destroyed by some random encounters, we head on to fight Ma Titties.
Alright. Oh, I see where this is going.
With the Rosetta Ring, its fire swords are negated, and once Ronaldo goes into trance, it's more of the same. I summon Leviathan and wait for it to destroy my titties. The next battle with Tiamat, though, will require some preparation, namely a grind against some Grand Dragons. I equip Ronaldo with a pumice piece, which will finally allow her to learn the boost ability. As I mentioned before, this will make her manual summons always perform the full animation, doing extra damage and more importantly, taking more time. This will allow her to heal more with auto regen anytime she summons. But after a few battles, I realized something. I've overlooked an important ability, the ability I can learn from Ancient Aroma, Odin's sword. See, we did circle back to this, I was not lying. Odin is a really cool summon. Its normal effect allows it to instantly kill all monsters on the field, and the chance of that happening is increased based on the number of ores in the party's inventory. The exact formula is on the screen here, but it isn't that important, because bosses are immune to the death status. But with the Odin sword ability, Odin's summon does regular damage, and while the instant death chance is increased by having more ore, the power of Odin's damage is highest when you have none, and it is extremely powerful. So once again, I learn Odin's sword, I equip the pumice piece, and I head into the battle with Tiamat. Tiamat can drain Ronaldo's magic stats, so I have one goal in this battle: continually summon Odin and destroy her before she can. I summon Odin once, and then Ronaldo goes into trance. Twice, and then Tiamat absorbs magic, lowering Ronaldo's damage. But Odin still goes over 5,000 damage for each casting. And to add insult to injury, during trance, Odin occasionally bops her with his long and hard sword. See what I did there? Unfortunately though, Tiamat gets off another absorbed magic just a little bit later, but this effort comes too late. Ronaldo dodges what would have been a fatal blow, and for the first time in one of these runs, I defeat Tiamat on my first try. The Kraken is next, and as usual, it's a completely impotent cluster of Tantacles that gives me no issue. Oh shit. Okay, so I forgot to equip the ribbon, which would have completely prevented damage from its magic attacks, and this is my first time dying on this battle during a challenge run. But on my second try, I don't change much. Rather than use auto potion, I stick with auto regen, since that will heal more HP during Ronaldo's summons. This strategy is far more successful, and Ronaldo tears apart the Tantacles in record time. But following this is the most frustrating battle in the game, Lich. I've discussed the mechanics of this battle in depth in multiple other challenge videos, so I won't go into it excessively. But basically, the Lich has multiple ways to cast instant death. Death, Doom, Venom Stop, and level 5 Death to be specific. So I decide to try going into this battle without auto life, and of course that means that Lich immediately uses death, ending my first attempt within seconds. The second attempt goes better, but not much better. I get off one Odin strike before he casts death again. I'm not sure why I tried a third time without auto life, but clearly I'm insane, because once again, I die. But the fourth time, I have the auto life ability. The Lich opens with a Doom spell, which misses, but unfortunately, I don't have the boost ability equipped. That means I can't do much damage at all, and he eventually does cast death followed by Death Cutter, taking down Ronaldo again. So on try number 5, I equip auto life and auto regen, getting rid of auto haste, but I still don't have boost, so my damage is still pretty piddly diddly, and Lich once again cuts down my little Ronaldo. So eventually I decide to go outside and grind a bit more, and here's why. Abilities are equipped based on the number of ability crystals available, and the only way to get more is to level up. So I get some more ability crystals, grind some weaker monsters to learn the boost ability outright so I can equip that along with auto life and head back to the Lich with Ronaldo at level 63. But even so, the next time I go in with boost, Odin sword, auto life, and auto regen equipped, Ronaldo still gets taken down by 2 doses of Doom. But after a few more deaths, my chat, as usual, saves me. When you're inflicted with Doom, if you use a Phoenix down when the counter is at 1, your character can actually revive themselves, avoiding the instant death effect that Doom causes. And with this new trick, I'm able to Odin the Lich to death. Now there are just 3 more enemies in my way. The first is Death Guise. I keep auto regen, auto life, and auto haste equipped, and Death Guise honestly didn't stand a ghost of a chance. And to add insult to injury once again, Ronaldo even enters trance, though that likely didn't matter since summoning Odin does a ton of damage, and Death Guise gets slashed. Kuja is next, and with the Robe of Lords, Kuja's magic damage is mediocre at best. And again, with Odin's full summon going off each time Ronaldo casts it, Kuja has very little recourse against Ronaldo, and yet he still manages to take her down with a double flare, which was frankly surprising and sad. But with a little more care, Ronaldo is able to come out on top. Oh wait, no she wasn't. Okay, but the third time I unequip auto life and re-equip auto potion and chemist. This way, Ronaldo can stall for time after each of Kuja's attacks and also heal 900 HP. So once again, I've basically made her invincible as long as I summon Odin frequently, which I do. So Kuja gets thwacked. But there's one more challenge, Nekron. And the main challenge, of course, is Grand Cross, which can inflict every status effect, including instant death. His first Grand Cross, though, inflicts no status effects at all, and I'm able to hit with a few Odin strikes. The second Grand Cross once again inflicts no status effects. I summon Odin again. He uses Neutron Ring, which does almost nothing. I summon Odin again. He uses Blue Shockwave to bring my health to 1. I summon Odin one more time, and this is enough to bring down Nekron and defeat Final Fantasy IX with only Garnet. And if you just gotta have more, here is a playlist with all of my Final Fantasy challenges. Enjoy. Bye-bye. Nice to see ya. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay. Bye-bye. Yeah, bye-bye. Don't you bye-bye me. Bye-bye. 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 Click the thing. Bye-bye.